shared. And I give you thanks. I'll start here, Megan, and then I'll move, because I find it really hard to stay here. But there are moments in times like these that we just don't want to accept what is happening. There really aren't words to share. And in fact, words almost seem trite, don't they? Even for those of you who were able to share so much from your heart, the words seem trite and sometimes actually stale. Because nobody wants what is happening to happen. And we feel. So we're wrapped in a fog of unbelief, of questions and wondering, not knowing sometimes where to turn, because as you've all heard, everyone turned to Dwayne for things. He's the one you called when you had a question, because he had a plethora of information at the tip of his tongue and probably running through his heart. And so it makes times like these difficult, especially when you're hoping that it's not true. And yet it is. All of those things shared, all I could think as you were talking is how eloquent he was with his life. That Mr. and Mrs. Hitz gave him as they brought him into the life of this world through baptism, through Christ, but also as they shared numerous things with him. The memories that are there are profound and powerful, and yes, they will rest with you forever as you live in this world. There are stories that Mrs. Hitz told me on the phone of the priests and the brothers calling Dwayne, the father, in and saying, "You got to do something with this kid." And he was only in first grade. It wasn't that he was a bad kid. It's he didn't fit the mold. He was out of the mold. He was different from the rest. And he was never going to fit because he was square and the pegs were round. That's who God created. And it was out of that type of an unlikely mold that all of these marvelous things that have been talked about just flowed out of him. Basically, the priests and the brothers had to live with it. He graduated actually a year early. He went to college for a senior year. But his mom so proudly said, yet the faculty chose him to be student of the year out of a class of 500 when he was already away to college. That tells us something. It wasn't about the amount of knowledge he had. It was really about the fact that he was a well-rounded young man who had great desire and a fervency to strive in life. What I heard was compassion and kindness, all those words that come forth out of the scriptures, the way we are to be. That's how we touch people's lives. That's how we grow. That's how we change. And so then how do we come to this moment saying you have this vibrant person full of life, striving, 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 and now he's not here? It's those hard words, isn't it? We all were so thrilled here when we finally asked you to marry him. You've been with us, what, 6 years, and we were always wondering, when would this happen? And it happened. But what was so joyous in our time together the other day, and telling me more of your story, is that from the first time he saw you in a food situation at St. Olaf, not with music or history, he knew he wanted you. And he did that. You were in his heart forever. And on with his foot, you wrote his heart. What a gift you shared. The words that I have are this. I know that you are the one who makes beautiful music. But everything I hear and everything I know is that Dwayne made music for you as well. You said that sometimes he would get irritated and he'd go out, he'd disappear, and he would come back singing a song that he had just kind of come up with. But what a joyous thing to do. To say from the depth of your soul and your being, you live a song. We always say it's with music. But maybe the true song that we sing is the song that God implants in us before we were even born. He carved us in the palm of his hand. He carved Dwayne in the palm of his hand. He wrapped him and held him. And Dwayne's love for all people of every culture and religion was alive within him because God grasped him, made him, and sent him forth to be more things than any of us can imagine. Honestly, I got tired of listening to you talk about it because he was so busy living. So busy living. And I was thinking, my goodness, how do you fit so much into one short life? Or one moment, or one day, or 1 week? 40 years. But somehow God did something special with this young man, and he did it. And he sang his life beautifully. I was looking at the Psalms. I always had Psalms. Psalm 28:7, the Lord is my strength and my shield, my heart trusts in him, and he helps me. My heart leaps for joy, and with my song I praise him. With my life I praise him. Psalm 33:3, sing to him a new song. I think that Dwayne sang a lot of new songs. As an entrepreneur, he was trying to do many different things. He'd go to many places with your business. He was singing a new song for the people around him to experience and to hear. Play skillfully, it says, and shout for joy. Psalm 42:8, by day the Lord directs his love, at night his song is with me, a prayer to the God of my life. It is from that place that his plethora of writing came from, his knowledge vast and furious, I would say, his desire to write his prayer for you, which is in the bulletin today and has been made for all of us. There is something so spectacular about God's desire to make someone so kind and filled with life that all people can do is say, wow, and thank you. What a richness. Words are, yes, stale. They don't fill us. They don't tell the story, only bits and pieces. But who he is never leaves. For he was born to die from the beginning. And he lives and dwells within now. Far and yet not so far. Distant and not yet so distant. If I speak in the tongues of men and of angels but have not love, and a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. We probably thought he clanged sometimes when he wouldn't be quiet. But you knew that he was filled with that love. That would mark you all forever. What we say now in this place is we know where it comes from. that was instilled in him from the beginning of time, with the one who makes song, who makes life, and who made people. It is through Christ that we have the promise that holds us when there is nothing else. May God hold you, comfort you, and allow you to grow even more in new ways. May God's blessings be with you all.